Hey y'all, how you doing? So today is Wednesday, September 23rd, and I usually talk about books on Mondays, but I've been busy the last couple of weeks working on a little personal project, and I'm very close to finishing it, but I was starting to get a little burned out, so I told myself I'm just going to stop, take a break from it, and then pick it up maybe this weekend or next week. And in the meantime, um, I can work on some other things and don't feel so um, under the gun to get this project done because uh, I set my own limits. I set my own time limits on it, and I'm in no huge rush to finish it, but I just felt like I needed a break from it. And so, in between this project, I've been able to read. And so, before I get into the book I'm going to talk to you about today, which is called Bourbon Street Blues by Greg Herron, a couple of videos ago, I shared with you my solar return, and I was talking to you about the solar return using my solar return as an example. And in that video, I talked a little bit about my north node and south node, and how that indicated that in this coming year, I need to work to develop being more grounded in the mundane and work to erase being too much in the spiritual. I don't need to fill my entire life up with things that are spiritual. It's kind of like the temperance card in tarot, where the angel has one foot in the water, which is the spiritual, and one foot on land, which is the mundane. So one of my focuses this year, my solar year from September to September, is bringing about a little bit more balance between the spiritual and the material. And I kind of felt this before I saw it in the chart, and I got to thinking about how can I do this? How can I focus less on spirituality and be a little more grounded in the mundane and the here and now? And I thought, well, what do I do already that I can change up without really creating a lot of dissatisfaction for myself? So I know one thing I do is to entertain myself. A lot of TV shows and movies I watch are usually have some sort of supernatural element. Like some of my favorite movies are Practical Magic, Witches of Eastwick, Live and Let Die. TV shows, I love Supernatural. That's coming back very soon, and we're going to finish up that series. Charmed, the reboot, I've been watching that, although I like the original better. But so I said, well, one of the ways I can do is I can focus on watching TV shows that don't have a supernatural element. And one thing I did was a couple weeks ago, I started watching Umbrella Academy. Now, that I wouldn't say that's supernatural. That's more like science fiction because it's superheroes and people with powers, but it's not supernatural, spiritual things of that nature. And I would watch like 2 episodes a night for 2 weeks and then finish that series up. I'm going to be watching The Boys. I plan on watching that. I want to wait for all the episodes to drop and then I'm going to watch that. Was thinking about watching, oh God, what is it called? Lovecraft Country, but I think that is a supernatural element. But anyway, and then in terms of books, a lot of books I read have a supernatural element. Again, I like Practical Magic. I like Witches of Eastwick, Widows of Eastwick, The Daughters of Temperance Hove, the Physic Book of Deliverance Dane. I also pre-ordered the sequel, prequel, whatever it's called, from Alice Hoffman that's coming up. I think it's called, is it called The Rules of Magic? I believe that's what it's called. And that comes out, I believe, October 6th, so I will be reading that. But then I did learn about myself this past year. I learned that I like watching murder mystery movies on TV. I love the Poirot movies with Peter Ustinov. Murder on the Orient Express, the one from the 70s, the one that just came out a couple of years ago. It was pretty good with Johnny Depp, but I like the old one from the 70s better. What else are they? I'm trying to think of the titles. Death on the Nile, which I know they're doing a remake of that. And then last year I went to the thrift store. I found a big old stack of Agatha Christie murder mysteries, and I read them last year, and I really found out that I really, really like to read those as well. And from there, I found the Agatha Raisin murder mysteries. I collected the whole set. I read all of them, and then I sent them off to my mother because I was able to get her interested in those. And then I found out that the author M.C. Beaton had died, and I was sort of sad that there wouldn't be any more of those books unless they somehow found a ghostwriter. And then I found out she wrote at least one more Agatha Raisin book before she died, and that comes out in November of this year. Um, and so I really love reading these murder mysteries, and I got to thinking, I am gay. It'd be nice if there was like a gay detective. It just, it's a detective who happens to be gay, or a gay man who happens to be a detective. Just a good story. Because I want, when I watch TV or when I read books, sometimes I want to read about people that I identify with. And so I did some Googling, and I found out there's a whole genre of gay detective fiction out there. And so I saw on Amazon someone had posted a list of his favorite books in this genre. And so I looked them over, I kind of read what they were about, and I chose 3 to purchase just to see. And so one of the first ones I chose was Bourbon Street Blues by Greg Herron. And so I ordered this book. All I knew about it was about a gay man who happens to be a stripper who gets sort of caught up in this conspiracy. And it's one of those stories where he has to solve the crime himself because he knows things and he tells the cops, but they don't believe him, and they're going off in the wrong direction. And if he doesn't do something, the crime is not going to be solved. Now, when I first got the book in the mail, I just opened it up at random, and I saw that the chapters happened to be named after tarot cards. And under the, like there'd be 2 of Cups is the name of one chapter, and then under that there'd be like one little line that says what the card means, and then that would tie in with the events in the that chapter as the story progresses along. And I thought, okay, it's set in New Orleans, so maybe that's just a little thing they're doing, cute little thing they're doing. But no, it turns out that this gay stripper actually is a tarot reader, and he's psychic, although he keeps it a secret. He doesn't really tell people. The only people who know are his family. And apparently his mother and father were, I guess you'd say, hippies, and he prays to the goddess throughout the story. The words Wicca or pagan are never used. I don't believe he would identify as Wiccan. I believe he was be more identified as pagan. Anyway, so much for avoiding the supernatural. Anyway, this is a really good story. It is about a gay stripper who has to solve a crime in order to save people. There are a few references to sex, but it's not overly graphic. I thought the story was very tight and very well written. It is a little bit of a period piece, I would say. I feel like it was probably written in the 90s. There are references to cell phones, but they're the older cell phones, like the flip phones and stuff, not like these iPhones and stuff we have today. I don't want to get too much into the story because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but like I said, it was a really good story. I liked it. It turns out this is the first in a series featuring this main character by this author, and so I will definitely be looking on Amazon for future stories featuring this character because I'd like to really revisit this universe again, and I'd like to see what happens to this character as he grows and matures. Anyway, that's my quick little take on Bourbon Street Blues. I hope you enjoy this. What are your favorite gay detective fiction? If you have one, give me some titles. Tell me some stories. I'm looking to load up my to-read list for next year. Anyway, until next time, think good thoughts, do good things, be good people.